good matchup for the warrior, and he is kind of Mr. Warrior in the community here.
That's true. That's
But
true.
we'll see. We'll see.
I think it's kind of a chip, but I don't think it's particularly difficult.
Yeah.
And might have the same viewpoint.
Okay, so here we go.
Because
So
he
he is
chose the
indeed going to pick the warrior. The one thing about the warrior is it typically only has two ways of clearing like a shaman board. So a lot of times it's brawl, a lot of times it's Baron Geddon with like a whirlwind, that sort of bit. So it'll be really important for the warrior to really establish board control, get those minions like the armor smith and the taskmasters and the acolytes on the board early.
Yeah, and this Argent Squire can actually be a huge thorn in the warrior's side.
Yeah, totally.
Kungen's got an armor smith, which is basically the best answer. But yeah, if he doesn't have an early armor smith or an early acolyte, that can be pretty annoying to deal with.
Yeah, Kunken's actually drawn quite a few answer cards, I feel like, in his hand. So he's definitely fully equipped to deal with a lot of these opening minions, these small minions I was mentioning before. He did have to use a lightning bolt there, which the acolyte's probably going to be played really soon here. Yep, it's going to be played on this turn.
Yeah, get rid of the armor smith. Unfortunately, for Kungen, Amaz also has the Earth Shock, although he could just throw down the Flame Tongue totem.
Yeah,
since he's overloaded by one. Doesn't kills off the Acolyte of Pain.
Yeah,
but
and that's
it does leave the naked Flame Tongue totem.
Yeah, that's true. So he's going to go ahead and do that. It's not the ideal situation. I mean, a shaman usually likes to build the board a little bit, throw the Flame Tongue totem down in a situation where you can optimize your totem, your kind of small minions, and remove something substantial on your opponent's side of the board. But go ahead and play that early. Kungen doesn't really have an easy answer to that Flame Tongue, or just a way to remove it really efficiently. So Amaz is going to get a chance to kind of build this board up a little bit here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him just throw down a Drake here.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and that looks like that's exactly what he's going to do. Just kind of get the more expensive cards out of hand. Get a big threat on the board. And he didn't have anything to grow the Unbound Elemental with yet, so kind of awkward to just throw that guy down. Okay,
so Kungen goes ahead and uses the Shield Slam. The Shield Slams doesn't have a ton of targets, honestly, in the Shaman deck, so a Drake, Fire Elementals, those are definitely great for Execute and Shield Slam, so keeps the board back at the state it was the previous turn, but it's like deja vu, man. See another Azure Drake go down.
Yeah, everyone just gets one more mana crystal, right?
Yeah.
Amaz plays another Drake. Kungen, I guess, gets to play his own Drake as well. And then
we get another Shield Slam. This is like, seriously, Groundhog Day, man. This is crazy. Let's see what Amaz is. I think Amaz is going to switch it up this round.
Amaz has a third Azure Drake. I'm going to call shenanigans on this one.
It's arena style, man.
I guess he could faceless it. He could faceless. But
oh, true.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Amaz. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Amaz just throw down the Unbound Feral Spirits. He overloads himself to 5 next turn, which is fine.
Yeah, strong turn.
He still has enough mana for Thalnos Storm or Defender and Shock.
Yeah, strong turn. It's really good. Again, the Shaman wants to build this board, wants to fill the boards with as many totems and small minions as possible. But it looks like Kungen's going to play the Gorehowl, which is great. Gorehal's going to get lots of swings to remove these little minions. Drake's going to remove the 2/3, and yeah, pretty good turn for Kungen there. He's going to be able to remove something else next turn with the weapon too. So in good shape getting the Gorehowl on turn 7 there. Oh my goodness! Look at that draw from Amaz. Going to deal with that Gorehowl immediately. Top decks the Ooze. It looks like the Earth Shock's going to be used on the Drake.
Is going to get fed. Oh, maybe not. Oh man. Yeah, that Gorehowl was going to get fed, but not anymore.
Yeah, and Kungen doesn't have a.
This is the expression on Kungen's face. So.
So it looks like Kungen doesn't have a great answer to this board. He doesn't have the Baron Geddon, doesn't have a Brawl either right now, so he's thinking about just opting for the Sylvanas and hoping that Amaz doesn't have another Earthshock since he just used it, which is actually a correct assessment there. Amaz is probably gonna. You think Amaz is gonna run into the Sylvanas here, or just kind of hit over it and just hope for a
I
random?
think you just pass.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see. I think you just pass it up. You just defender the 3 power guys, kill the armor smith, and hit face for 9. I think is and totem of course. I think that's the best play. The Sylvanas is at least one more turn away from activating, unless Kungen wants to spend a card to activate it himself. He's got at least a 50% chance of stealing something with 0 power if Amaz just defenders and totems. I guess not quite a 50% chance, but that Sylvanas is pretty ignorable. Really doesn't do a whole lot.
Kungen does have a Korkron the next turn, which he can again kind of actively remove one of these taunts that are probably going to go up here. But he does end up getting a taunt totem there, which is going to protect that Unbound Elemental even more here. He's actually going to go with the Lightning Bolt here to buff up the Unbound Elemental even more. And he's not going to go. He's not going to Argus at all.
Yeah. Well, with the taunt totem, he doesn't have to Argus anymore. That seems like kind of an odd play.
Okay, got a little bit unlucky there on the steal. He ends up stealing a taunt totem, which is probably the one target he didn't want. So Maz ended up being quite fortunate there. Kungen draws a Fiery War Axe, which can be pretty good here. He can remove that Flame Tongue totem that's been really pesky for him.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering what Amaz's plan was for that turn. He might have just run out of time because he did have a lot of options.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't. He definitely could have timed it. I mean, it ended up working out decently for him, but a little bit of a lucky roll there with the Sylvanas. Okay, so it looks like Amaz is looking at a couple more taunts. Still has the big Unbound Elemental. He has another one too, and a Lava Burst too that might be able to buff both of them. Which looks like could be
I
a
actually
play,
think
honestly.
that play is probably
Yeah.
Shoot the Armorsmith, the Earthshock, kill the Drake, buff your golems, clear the warrior's board. It's a pretty good turn for Amaz, and
I don't think Kungen has much of an answer here unless he draws like a. He used both shield slams already. Okay, got a Baron Geddon.
All right, the Geddon will actually clear out one of the golems or one of the elementals.
Yeah. Okay, he's gonna lead with the shield block here. See what he gets here. Oh, got a brawl, but he's gonna play the Baron Geddon like you were saying here.
Yeah, Kungen's actually looking like he's in a pretty good spot. Amaz kind of doesn't have a whole lot left in hand. Baron Geddon is just a huge threat. He doesn't really have a hero power unless Geddon gets off the board. So, kind of interesting to see what he'll do here. He's kind of pinched for options.
Yeah, he's going to have to remove this Geddon. Definitely a shaman wants to be in a position where he's got board control and got lots of minions on the board at this point in the game. So yeah, Maz is not looking in great shape, but the thing about shaman is like you can draw feral spirits and cards like that populate the board really quickly. So we'll see if he can actually get into that with his hero power too. But he's gonna go ahead and Argus both these guys, and he's gonna swing over. Okay, so he opts not to remove the Baron Geddon. So Geddon's gonna get another free round of damage here. And what do you think of that move?
I actually like that move. I think it's smart. He's getting damage in when he can. Geddon only gets a free round of damage if Kungen is okay with taking 6 to 8 more damage next turn.
Good point.
Most likely scenario is Geddon was going to trade with the Unbound. So throwing it down here, throwing down the defender and getting in 6 damage is actually pretty smart.
Alright, so it looks like Kungen's gonna go ahead and Korkron into the Unbound so that Geddon can remove it. Remove the 1/3 with the axe, and then he's gonna draw a card here with the Acolyte after Baron damages him. Alright, let's see what Amaz. This is a pretty huge turn for Amaz here. He's gonna need a good draw. Okay. That's not a bad draw. So he draws yeah, exactly. He draws a Fire Elemental, which will allow him to remove the Baron Geddon, thankfully for him. And then he can actually taunt up if he wants. but he might actually play a totem.
Yeah, I
There we
think
go.
more likely. Yeah, I think a totem's a little more likely. The 1/1 Acolyte of Pain is not really that much of a threat. If Kungen had an execute the Unbound Elemental last turn rather than using 3 cards to clear a board, so it's a pretty good read by Amaz.
All right, so a Grom. He's thinking about Grom. He can slam the Grom and get 10 here, but that's not really gonna put him in any kind of lethal situation, even for next turn. So I think. What do you think about? I don't know. What do you think is the best move here? Is an Alex? He might be thinking about Alex here, but I'd be scared of lethal being. All Amaz needs is another 7 damage to really kill you.
I don't know if you can Alex and just take the 7.
Yeah. Okay, so he draws.
And
he ends up. Okay, so he's going to draw 2 cards here with a slam, and then he's going to sack the Acolyte here. This is a pretty tough turn for him. He wants an execute. That's what he's trying to dig for.
I might have actually just thrown out Brawl. You have a 2/3 chance of killing the Fire Elemental.
Yeah, I think so too. That would have been a pretty good play. So he's going to go ahead and Grom, and
he might. It looks like he's thinking about face tanking that Fire Alley. Clear that fuck.
I think he's going to Grom into it, right? Yeah, he's going to Grom into it and Rage Grom.
Yeah, I mean, he's really concerned about his life total.
Yeah, which he should be. I mean, I think if he loses any more life, he's running the risk.
Yeah.
Amaz has an Alkir in his deck, I believe.
He's really concerned about his life total. Which he should be. Yeah, and Kungen has to assume that Amaz is going to have some kind of burst. That look on his face of, oh, I rolled a spell power totem. Oh, how lovely.
Okay, so Amaz is trying to decide whether he takes the 10 damage to the face, or if he just runs a Lightning Storm here. There's not many small minions left over. You might as well just go a Lightning Storm just as a single target. And that's what he ends up doing.
I mean, it's expensive, right? Because you overload 2, you lose your AoE spell, but, I mean, 10 damage is still 10 damage.
That's right. So, okay, well, Kungen's going to finish off that Spell Power Totem with his axe, and then now is the time for the Alexstrasza, and Amaz does not have an answer. He hasn't drawn any of his hexes yet. Okay, he's going to go ahead and totem.
Although we do get a bunch of taunts.
Yep, which will be effective for him, and one has Divine Shield on it too, so it's going to possibly draw in the next round. But he does have Whirlwind. Kungen does have Whirlwind, which will pop the bubble, and he does have 2 executes now too, so he's in good shape, man.
That's true. And I mean, if I were Kungen here, I would be thinking. The only thing I would be thinking is, how could I possibly lose this game? Like, what possible ways are there that I lose the game?
Well, so if Amaz draws Alkir, he can do 12 damage, but Kungen should not lose this game. Let's see what happens.
Correct.
Let's see what he ends up doing here.
But if all he does is armors up and passes, I mean, we could be looking at an Alkir top deck finish.
If that's what he's doing here. He didn't want it. Oh, okay. So he ends up hexing, which hex is actually a decent draw for him too. Alkir would have been lethal though, but okay, and he gets a taunt totem too.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I think he's gonna kill both drakes.
Yep. Or
both dragons. Yeah. Well, I guess one just turns into a toad and isn't dead yet, but I don't know. I think if I were Amaz, I would have probably tried to go for the face because I don't see any way he's winning this game. So
well, again, he
still
has a cure. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, there's not very many big minions he has left, even power in his deck, but he still has 1 Flame Tongue totem, I believe, and he still has the Alkir left. So this is turning out to be a really close game. I mean, Kungen doesn't have much power in his hand either. It's mostly removal.
That's true.
Oh, there's another Fire Elemental. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, the Fire Elemental will get some damage in. I mean, it's just going to get Whirlwind executed.
Yep.
Almost 100%. But, yeah, I mean, we've got a pretty interesting game here. I wonder if Kungen will also burn the cleave to kill the 2/2.
That's a good question. I think he. Why not? Right?
Yeah,
I'd actually run the cleave.
I'd probably just whirlwind, cleave, execute, and play the BGH. Because the BGH doesn't really have that many targets against the Shaman. Usually it's a buffed fire elemental is the best target.
So Kungen, I'm trying to think of what Kungen probably still has left in his deck. He's probably still have He probably still has Rag in his deck.
Yeah. He still has Rag. He still has
Oh, that's a good draw.
Actually, do we know if he's running anything like Karen?
Oh, that's a good question.
But
I'm not sure if he is or not.
He's still got Rag as far as big annoying minions go. Oops. Well, he put a point of damage on his Taskmaster. So.
Okay, so he is not running Rag actually. He's not running.
He's not running Rag. Okay,
no,
then.
He's not running Karen either because he ran Sylvanas instead. So he actually doesn't have much left in his deck either. This might go into fatigue, or this might actually be really great.
This is almost certainly going to go into fatigue at this point. And Amaz got basically like the best top deck that he could get, which was
Alkir. I believe he still has Alkir in his deck. I think he has a Flame Tongue Totem left too.
But but Kungen is fatigued out. He has nothing left.
So Kungen ends up conceding there, and that was a really great game there. I didn't actually realize that. Yeah, I didn't realize Kungen was really out of options.
Amaz was way ahead at one point, and then he was way behind, and Kungen just had a full hand. And Amaz slowly caught back up in true Shaman fashion, which is grind away, grind away.